Hello, hello, hello. This is Ike Grande with Demystifying Gay Porn. Uh, just wanted to come on and do an impromptu Q&A. So, not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people know I'm here. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, top chat, live chat, all messages are visible. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All messages are visible. Okay. So I know, where's the camera? Right over here. Okay, nobody's on right now, but actually there's one person on. So I'm just gonna, oh wow, 15. Okay, cool. I am, first and foremost, thank you very much for watching. This is very impromptu. I wasn't expecting to do one so quick. How you doing, Alex? Good to see you. So I am going out and I have a little time to kill. So I figured I'd jump on and kind of fool around with the new setup for Q&As and stuff like that. So here I am. I'm gonna make myself a cocktail. I will answer your questions live. Hello from Cuba, Eduardo, ¿cómo estás? I'm gonna make myself a cocktail and then I'm gonna go through some comments. If you have any questions that are live, by all means, that's what I'm here for. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. I want to thank you guys all very, very much. Bakersfield, California, how are you, Lay? Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Up to 36,000 subscribers, which is awesome. My goal is 50,000 by the time I'm done with season 4, and then I'll move right into season 5. Basically, it's been a learning process, especially because now I'm dealing with the history of gay erotica, which has been very, very hard to do because, well, the next episode you'll see. Blind Rage Podcast. How you doing from Philadelphia? I'll be in Philadelphia in 2 weeks, shooting some scenes and doing some stuff. But yeah, no, the podcast is a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Len. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's crazy stuff, but I absolutely enjoy doing it. The reason why I say it's crazy is because of the fact that there's so much history and so little of it is documented, and it's almost crazy to think that so little of it is documented and it's the 20th century. But you have to understand with laws and well, obscenity laws by all above all is the reason why all of these guys or people that were involved in these productions kind of were anonymous. All right, so I'm making myself, like I said, a quick drink as a pregame. Then I'm going to take an Uber and meet a couple friends out. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask me and you're here, is the audio level a bit low? Testing, 1, 2. Is this better? Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Let's see. Testing, 1, 2. Let me know if that's okay. I did do a test right before, so I just want to make sure. Amazing. Yes. Okay, perfect. Hello from South Africa. Carl, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate that. South Africa, God, I haven't been there. One of the things I said I wanted to do is kind of shoot a porn scene on every continent. Let's see if anybody will take up that challenge with me. That'd be fun. Anyway, so cheers. I just made myself a drink right here. Once I'm done with this drink, I do have to go, but I will get through some comments and stuff. So, all right. So if I don't have any live questions, are you still producing and directing full-length content from Lee? Well, yeah. Basically, what I do. Happy Friday to you too, Frank D. Frank, I'll get to you in 1 second. I am shooting full length or feature length content. The way Treasure Island works right now is they have me shoot scenes for their website, and then after shooting scenes for the website, I also have a quota of scenes that I shoot for exclusive movies that they make. So they're not really themed or anything like that, but I am shooting. But I'm trying to move into other stuff. We'll see what happens. um, Frank, you had a question, and I'm trying to see how I can pull this up. But if not, okay. Did you do a full on Christopher Rage retrospective? Not yet, but Christopher Rage, he makes an appearance in the 70s because he did work with Jack DeVoe and stuff. But he doesn't make an appearance until the 80s, or he doesn't start becoming a full-on producer and director until the 80s. So he's going to be on season 5. I have everything I need on him, all the research and stuff, but well, we'll see. Absolutely, he's going to be on. He's going to be a main feature, actually. Hello, pod damn it, hello, how are you? Frank, I think if you can, when you get a chance, the way the messages are popping up, I'm on an iPad right now, so they just pop up real quick and then they disappear. So if I see them, I see them. You mentioned something about a porn star that disappeared, and the name didn't look familiar from the start. So if you are still on and you want to send it again, send it again. But if not, email me and I'll look up that porn star for sure. And then Philadelphia podcast, right? The Rage podcast. Alan Warnick. Alan Warnick, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure what generation he's from, if he's from the golden age of gay porn. But let me look him up real quick just to see if his face rings a bell. I love it. My safety settings on for some reason. Oh, handsome guy from Lucas. So he looks like he's from the 2000s and 2013s. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I mean, I could always check and see. But all right, I'll keep that open for you. So I'm just going to read through some comments and questions that have come up while I'm waiting for some live questions to come in. Santana XSL is killing it right now. Ed Danikos. Have you ever met Jeff Stryker? Is he still around the industry? Is he retired? So yes, I've spoken to Jeff Stryker. I'm trying to convince him to do a documentary with me. However, one of the first conversations I had was gay porn parodies. I will do a show on gay porn parodies, yes. But really quick, because I digress. Jeff Stryker, yes, I have spoken to him. I almost pester him to the point where I hope that he does see that I am capable of doing a documentary on him, or with him involved. His idea is he's going to get a producer, and that producer is going to make the documentary with him. That's just not how it works anymore. We want to come in with a finished product and then sell it to Netflix, if anything. Brendan Cage, I'd have to look him up. But you know, a lot of these porn stars do disappear. A lot of these, especially depending on when we're talking about the 70s, 80s, 90s. They're a bit transient when it comes to stuff. I think that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, no, Jeff Stryker, like I said, I will do one on season 5, a bio on him, whether he likes it or not. He doesn't own the material, so it would be a really, really good thing to do. 3D glasses, 3D porn. I don't know. We'll see about that. What other documentaries also in the works aside from Jeff Striker? So for the rest of season 4, there's about 8 episodes left. In season 4, the next 3 episodes are going to deal with Monroe Beeler. Don't lean into this speeder more often. I'm not quite sure what that question means. Speeder. Is that a technical question? The next couple of documentaries that I am going to do are based on Monroe Beeler, Shan Sales, Pat Rocco. Oh, Seedier. Okay. If I don't, well, okay. I mean, I do. Come on, I work for Treasure Island. It's a bit seedy. I just have a specific style, and that's just how it is. There's plenty of seedy directors out there. I don't think what I've done is not seedy, but maybe it's not the seediest. Uh, yeah, so the next couple of documentaries for season 4 are going to be about Monroe Beeler, Shan Sales, Pat Rocco, and those 3 guys in particular kind of, well, Shan Sales and Monroe Beeler especially, they kind of paved the way for not only heterosexual erotica, but gay erotica as a business. They owned theaters all over California. They were fighting obscenity laws, and during the gay liberation movement in the 60s and 70s, they were like there and they were visible. And yeah, they made money. They made a lot of money, but they also created the system that exists today. So they are very vital, but we don't really hear a lot about them in history. So that's another thing. I think Shan Sales and Monroe Beeler, Monroe Beeler is coming up first, but I found one picture of the man, and I found a couple of people that knew him. However, they did not respond. So a lot of it was done through research, going through the LAPD, believe it or not, because he was one of those people that was targeted because he had a theater, he had a production company, and the police didn't like that. The police didn't like, at that time, the movement that was going on and the spread of gay culture, as they called it. So those are the next couple of documentaries coming up. I have one with Toby Ross, who was a filmmaker in the 70s, and Arthur J. Bresson. I'll be doing a whole bunch of models. I know somebody just asked for Bruno. Bruno's coming up. And basically, it's just, it's going to deal with the rest of the 70s. Kip Nolan, Casey Donovan. Yeah, there's some 70s actors still around today. Thank you very much for liking those videos. Derek Stanton, who I'm going to speak with, he's still around. And I did a video. I'm trying to remember the actor's name, and you'll have to excuse me, that sucks. But there's a lot of them. But yeah, no, there were a couple of actors, and when they are still alive, I reach out to them if they're interested in taking part in their bio or any of the documentaries. If they have something to say about the movie that they were in, I will absolutely reach out to them, because yeah, that would be great to have that firsthand knowledge. But a lot of times these people disappeared or they left the industry and they didn't want to look back. So yeah. So somebody asked about Vic from Beefcake Hunter, and that was today. What's his contact? I'm sorry, I can't. You didn't really think I was going to give you his contact just like that, did you? Okay, so here it is. Yeah, somebody said Bruno. I want Bruno and Al Parker. Al Parker is absolutely going to be featured. There's going to be one on Falcon Studios, although there is a really good documentary on Falcon. I can't remember. Seed Money, I think it was called. And I'll probably use some of the footage from there. However, there's plenty of bio and background on Falcon Studios because they were such a big studio. What I'm eventually going to do is, if there are models that, like for instance, if you saw the one with Dick Fisk, that was about 4 minutes, and it's unfortunate. I really wanted to kind of like build that one up a little more, but as I kept doing the research. Are you going to be working with established performers here in Philadelphia? Yeah, I'll be back. I'm supposed to do a scene with Santana. I'm actually just going through a lot of the content creators that are in Philadelphia now. I think Champ is going to be there, so that'll be cool. I'll get to see him again. I haven't seen him in a minute. But just back to the one on Dick Fisk, I a lot of these models, I do try to get as much research as I can on them. And the problem with Dick Fisk and why it was 4 minutes, he wasn't around long enough to do interviews or anything like that. So that sucked. And then he passed. And, it was an unfortunate accident. But that was one of the cases where I have this segment that I'm going to do called Fluffers. And Fluffers is going to be the smaller videos, or the smaller 4 to 5 minute videos. Yeah, Mark Reynolds is in it. Mark Reynolds, I think, is from the 70s too. I wish these messages just didn't disappear so quick. I saw one about Falcon. I'm not sure if you can repeat that question. I wish I can see this a bit, or I wish the messages would stay up a bit longer. And there's definitely a way. I don't know if on the iPad, but great interview. Blah blah blah. Kudos to Rob. So what's up with sitting him in the shadow? No hate, but really bad lighting. That was the Rob Montana interview. Okay, so there's a gay bar in Seattle called Pony. They use pages from the 1970s and 80s. Paul, yeah, that's really really cool. They do that in Provincetown too, at the A House. That's pretty much the inspiration behind the poster behind me. And you guys can't see it at the moment, but it's huge. It goes like from here to here. And what I think I'm going to do with this eventually is I'm going to either raffle it off or something to like the guys that support me on Patreon. And I have to give a huge shout out. I'm very, very, very happy with the 36 going on 37,000 subscribers. That's insane. In a matter of a year and a half. That's nuts. I appreciate that. The guys on Patreon absolutely do help me. YouTube does not like this channel, and I had to fight to get reinstated when it came to monetization. And they basically just limit everything, even if it's not talking. Basically anything I try to do, and I've tried with a couple of different things. That didn't involve porn, and I'm gonna keep doing that just to see that they're basically just limiting me on everything. And if you're a YouTube monthly subscriber, premium, that's the only way that I would get I like the channel makes any money. And I'm not saying I want to make money off the channel. I appreciate that. That's really cool. It helps me buy books and stuff that I do research with, but yeah, it really, really sucks. They're not fans of it. So I appreciate the Patreon members because of the fact that they do help. They do help, absolutely. And so what I was saying is I'm probably going to get this raffled off in like 3 parts. It's huge. It's like, I don't know, 48 by 36 or something like that. All right, so let's see if you guys don't have any other questions at the moment. Let me read a couple of other ones. Why is the gay and straight adult industry different from each other? For the reference, why the separation? I don't think that. What kind of martini? Thank you, gin martini, straight up, no vermouth, and grapefruit. I think that, well, when you think about it, straight porn, gay porn, bi porn, send, not end. I'm not sure what that means. But straight porn, gay porn, bi porn, I don't know. I think it'd be a little dry if you had the same people doing all of it. Why it's so different, I don't know. Are we all the same? I think that I was just reading something today actually about these theater owners and how they had straight filmmakers. We should all send you super chats. Jeez, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so these theater owners, they would ask the straight filmmakers to make gay porn, and they wanted nothing to do with it. Maybe that, obviously that was probably a different mind frame. There, I guess, the way I'm thinking of answering your question is, um, the people that make the porn, as opposed to actual straight porn, gay porn, bi porn. I don't know. I don't know why they're so different. I guess I don't know how to answer that question right now. What I can tell you is that there's definitely straight people that do own a lot of gay studios. Um, I've heard both good and bad stories about that. Um, is straight porn in straight porn there are FF scenes. Yeah, there definitely are fist fucking scenes. There's niches in straight porn that you see in gay porn all the time. Um, One way that I think would would be cool is because I watch a lot of straight porn, and if straight porn or gay porn did scenarios, like there's this new thing called free use. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but basically free use is, uh, have you looked at performers who work in both straight and gay porn? Yes, I have. But just getting back to this real quick, free use is this idea that you can, have sex with this person while they're making dinner or something like that. It's really, really interesting, but gay porn just started doing it too. So I guess there are other people that are watching straight porn. I mean, I know there are, but that's pretty interesting. The thing I don't like about straight porn is the plots. Gay porn cuts right to the chase. I've yet to see performance in straight porn. Male performance? Is that what you mean? Dick Phoenix still around? I'm not sure if Dick Phoenix is still around. Um, uh, let's see, Dick Phoenix. I'm gonna put him down and find out. But yeah, when you're working with plots in straight porn, you're not really working with great male, female, female. You're saying you don't really see male and female in straight porn? Because then it wouldn't necessarily be straight porn. But then it's also geared to straight men, so straight men really don't want to watch two men going at it. At least if they do, they don't want to talk about it. They know where to go. Uh, Dick Phoenix, gay porn. And let's see. Let's see if anything comes up. I will keep him here, and let's see. Let's see what I can find on him. I was pleasantly surprised to find your channel a few months ago, and I think that you are documenting gay history. Captain, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I enjoy it. I come from a documentary background, and when I started working for the gay adult industry, yeah, it was cool, and you get to tell people, hey, this is great, but there wasn't really substance to it. There isn't there. I don't know. I don't really think there's substance to it now. On top of that, would you do a show or movies that walk the lines in porn? Absolutely, absolutely. I have three, three on the back burner. Thundercrack. I have three on the back burner right now that I would love to do. One of them I want to do almost immediately, but I need funding. I need funding to do that. It would be independent. I thought about how to go about it. Um, I worked on Death Drive with Dark Alley, and that took about, I would say, $50,000 to do. Uh, I worked on LA Zombie. That was like a $70,000 budget. So this would be right on par with that, if not less. I feel like one of the things that I did do in documentary filmmaking was keep costs down. But yeah, no, amazing. And it comes from the research that I've done for the podcast. So there's a lot of history in it. It'd be really, really cool. Yeah, LA Zombie. That's right. Excuse me. Dean Phoenix. All right, so I will look him up. Funny enough, there was a Dick Phoenix too. Oh no, Dean Phoenix. Okay, I see him here. Okay, so he's more contemporary. Yeah, no, we got a whole bunch of stuff to do. We got to get through the 80s. We got to get to the 90s. So yeah, so we'll have a lot of fun. Just, I'll be here. uh, I digress, though. There was definitely something that I was talking about before. Oh, the History Channel, or making the history of it. Yeah, for me, the podcast at the moment is a labor of love. I would love to get stuff going quicker, but it's just me. And unfortunately, fortunately, I also have a full time job. But unfortunately, that does kind of take away from being able to just deliver these bios almost every week. And a lot goes into it. A lot of these guys, they have a couple of books or a book in general written about them if I'm lucky, and I have to dive into that book and just dissect it and take out parts that um, kind of summarize everything. But for me, it's like school. I can't think of any other industry where you can just start working and not know the history of it. And gay porn and porn in general is like that. You don't know all of these people who are making all this stuff or made this stuff and made it all happen for you. Are there gay male performers that transition from porn to mainstream? Casey Donovan kind of did. Francois Sagat kind of did. But mainstream art world, if anything, I feel like that's as far as they've gotten. You get some awesome guests on your shows. Awesome that you have many connections within the industry. Pod damn it, thank you. I mean, I'd hope after 15 years I'd make some friends. No, yeah, a lot of it just goes into meeting these guys and talking to them. And if they have a story and they want to talk, they come on the podcast. If not, so I tried. There's a lot of people for season 5 coming up too. Directors, podcast hosts, stuff like that. You know, Big Banana, gay porn. Sorry, Mark Jennings. Do you possibly know what happened to him? Did he survive the AIDS epidemic? Why does Big Banana sound familiar? Mark Jennings. You see, there's so many people out there. I will respond to that question when I know more information about it. But thank you for asking. Okay, let's see what else is going on. I don't think YouTube would permit me to say what Big Banana means. Oh, I see. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I know. I kind of wish there was something like YouTube, but not like YouTube when it comes to stuff. Remember when YouTube was fun? I mean, it's fun now, but still. Let's see. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry I missed a question. Can you... You know what? Maybe can I open this on my thing and reread questions that you guys are asking? Anyway, I'm so sorry. You just asked a question. Can you copy and paste your question and just put it right back in? And I promise I'll pay attention this time. It started with can you. I'm trying to think of which one it is. Can you tell us how to get into the industry, documentary and studio work? What education does one have to pursue? Can you do an interview with Bruce LaBruce? Oh my God, no. Bruce LaBruce, look up season 3. He was my first guest for season 3. I did a whole interview with him, about an hour long. Yeah, no, that was a great interview. No, you don't need a background. What you need, honestly, the only background that you should get is holding a camera or holding a phone at this point. I tell my one friend Champ, because sometimes he has some guys, and I'm like, listen, you got to spend the money on a video guy. Just anybody can hold a camera, or anybody can hold a phone, and if it doesn't look good, it's just a guy holding a phone. So you gotta spend the money on that. So if anything, honestly, all you would have to do is learn some camera techniques or film techniques, and you don't even have to go to school for that. Just go on YouTube. I feel like I've been on YouTube a couple times, and a couple of 12-year-olds have shown me really, really cool ways to shoot certain things nowadays, especially. Okay, so Beefcake Hunter is my favorite site. Again, I'm just going through some comments just to see what questions have come up there, because I know sometimes I don't get to answer them there. While I wait for some of your questions, how's everybody doing, by the way? How's your day? Okay, let's see. Demanding Stars. Oh, would really like to buy this film. No Sweat Off My Ass by Bruce LaBruce. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know that one. Before I worked with Bruce um, for LA Zombie, I watched all of his films just because you kind of have to know a little bit about this person. I knew the name, I just didn't know a good amount, but I wanted to know. That's actually, I did a behind the scenes, and it's never been released, and I think I'm going to release it for Halloween. I wanted to do it the year before, during the 10th anniversary, because 2011. So 2021, I wanted to release it, but I wasn't doing the history. I wasn't doing all that stuff, and I hadn't spoken to Bruce since shooting the film. And the shoot was tense, and I kind of got I kind of got the feeling he didn't like me, and I mentioned that in the interview, but uh, it was all hashed out. We were good. I read his book, his book about shooting. I think it's called The Porn Diaries, but he wrote a diary about every single shoot that he's done, and one of them was LA Zombie, and I couldn't believe, I was capturing all this stuff in real time, and then he was having these conversations with all the craziness and the madness that was going on behind the scenes. So I didn't know what was going on in his head, and here's this guy who kind of is in charge of, I don't know, a shoot of 20 to 25 people working in the background and stuff. And has any shoot ever made you uneasy? Len, yeah, there's been a couple shoots where people have come high, and the first time I didn't know what to do because I was basically just a camera guy at that point. Ooh, hey, how you doing? Some of my lights are going off. Um, that's how you can tell I wasn't. This is very impromptu, like I said. Um, so the first couple of shoots that I did, um, one of them, a guy came high on meth, and like I said, I didn't know what to do, so um, thank you very much, Pod Dammit, the ABDL interview. I didn't know what to do, so I didn't have any say. But then every other time after that, on my call sheets, it says no hard drug use. Well, before that, it was even drug use. I knew some guys would come high on, like, they would smoke a little bit beforehand and stuff, and that's fine. It doesn't really hinder their performance. But if you come high on meth and we're shooting for 4 hours, you're wasting my time. You're wasting everyone else's time, and that wasn't cool. Uh, I felt uncomfortable then. I felt uncomfortable one time when a performer thought that, uh, well, yeah, I think he was cracked out of his mind, but he thought that I was not paying him what he was worth, and he was waiting for me downstairs. I was like, all right, we're going to fight. We'll fight. You don't know where I'm from. I can fight. Um, but yeah, uncomfortable. That's probably the most uncomfortable I've felt, honestly, on a shoot. Luckily, thank you. Oh, so Peter North, aka Matt Ramsey, Rocco Reed. Well, Peter North doesn't really talk about his gay porn days. He kind of just glosses over that. So I don't know. Peter North is big. He's got his reach. I'll reach out, but as Matt Ramsey, yeah, absolutely, I would do a doc or a bio on him. But and who knows? Maybe he changed and he's open to talking about it. But a lot of times, um, if they don't talk about it in interviews, and there's a couple of models now that are working in the straight porn industry, and started in the gay porn industry. Some of the like beautiful guys on Oliver Flynn. I forgot what his name was, but he worked for Corbin Fisher, and he did a couple of gay scenes. And now, I, Mike South, I think it was, did a story about him, and he just kind of denounced the whole thing. So I don't know. And then there's a lot of cool ones. There are a lot of cool guys that do not have a problem talking about the fact that yeah, they worked in gay porn. I think we need more guys that are kind of, their sexuality is open when it comes to that stuff. That's what we all fantasize about. Okay, so somebody asked a question about the older films, like The Night Before, and where to buy them. Honestly, the best answer that I can give you is um, Bijou, BijouWorld.com has a whole catalog of movies from the 70s and 80s, and I think they've restored them. Vinegar Syndrome is another one that has restored a whole bunch of films from the 70s and 80s on both the straight and gay sides. Those are really really cool releases. So when you want to buy them, or when you want to watch them in their full glory, definitely go to a website or a studio that owns these movies and buy them there. Some of these interviews are interesting, and the others, this is some interviews are interesting, some worth watching, and some, I think there's a reason porn directors would rather the porn star not talk in their videos. Touche. What was the first gay porn film that we know of historically? Historically, the first gay porn film was The Surprise of a Night. It's in, I did a short piece on it in the first episode of season 4, which is just the prologue. And towards the end of it, it does talk about it. What year? 1928? Yeah, so 1928, if I'm not mistaken. I might be off by a year or two. And then the next one was, yeah. Oh my God. And that's only what we know of. And we're not even cracking the surface. We're not, like, there's I love that I'm down to like one light. I'm so sorry about that, guys. But that's not even cracking the surface. One of the things that we have to realize too is there's video, there's film. What was the title or name? The Surprise of the Night is the one that I mentioned, and that's in season 4, prologue. And when you go on the channel, it's the first thing that comes up. And if you go on the channel and you're annoyed by it, but it's basically the one that starts immediately. The Surprise of the Night, that's the one. And then Ryan Driller does straight porn now. Yeah, I remember that. Jeremy, Ryan Driller, I think he played Superman in one of the porn spoofs. But yeah, like I said before, we're not cracking the surface. We're just dealing with film. There were people taking pictures immediately after the advent of film that were homoerotic, erotic. I have a whole book here that I can't even get into right now. I really just want to focus on film and video, but I do have stuff that I want to do about photographers and the countless photographers who their work was destroyed either by history or by collectors and stuff. And that's all they were back then, were pick collectors, and there were eventually film collectors too. But one of the things I know from what I was reading was after the advent of film, almost immediately, yeah, Bob Miser, David Martin, Bob Miser I'll touch on too. But one of the things, almost immediately after the advent of film, there was almost, like, without question, a porn film or a stag film. And there were stag films from the 20s all the way up to the 60s that were just called porn loops. 99% of them were heterosexual, and then 1% were gay. But again, so many of these are probably lost to history. We never know what will happen, but yeah, it's nuts. Surprise of the Night is available. I forgot what college, but you have to be a scholar to read it. Yeah. A lot of history that we lost. Let's see. Is there a site where clips can be seen that are not as heavily censored as YouTube? I think I answered that question. Hmm. So many comments, and I appreciate that. That's another way to help the channel. Like and subscribe on this stuff because it's absolutely appreciated. It helps visibility uh, with the channel and with the videos. Whenever we get likes and subscribes, it recommends it to people that are not subscribed to the channel. And that with the keywords and the tags and stuff absolutely help. So I think I'm just going to focus on questions. Even if you guys just have questions not relating to gay porn, let's do it. I still have a lot of cocktail here. Are there current male performers who hold college and professional degrees? Do you plan to document the new golden age? Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So Bellamy was supposed to, and I'll get to the other one about college degrees and stuff. Um, Bellamy was supposed to be in season 4. However, thank you very much, Pod damn it, I appreciate that. Um, Bellamy was supposed to be a part of season 4, and I took it off just recently because they made their first film in 1978, but it wasn't released till 1980. So there's plenty of people that I have to get to in the 70s. So I moved them to 1980, and Jean-Daniel Cadinot will have his whole video, and eventually all those guys, because I loved watching that stuff. Didn't know they were pre. Oh yeah, no, they were. Oh my God, Cadinot's videos from the 80s are absolutely gorgeous. He shot them with film. The sex scenes are masterfully done. Like he was a great filmographer. He was a great filmmaker. I'm thinking of a couple of them right now. I think there's one called Bizarre. And the best thing about him was there was a lot of African men in that area, and so harem. That's the one. You're right, Len. Absolutely beautiful men in those videos. Uh, Evolved into Chex Bellamy with George Duo. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, I'll be touching on all that stuff for sure. Are there porn performers with college degrees? Yes, there are. Lucas Richstone was one of my first crush. Him and Johan Pollock and stuff. Uh, and they made a movie with this guy. I think Chance Prague, something somewhere in Prague or something. And that Chance was from New Jersey, not too far from where I lived. Um, there's many people in the porn industry with college degrees and stuff, and work prominent jobs, and then eventually just do this on the side for fun. Any future doc on him, on Lucas Richardson? Absolutely. But then I hate to say this, but we got to wait a little bit because I do want to get through season 5. I plan on doing it up into the 2000s. And then from there, like the scope of this entire project would be also to talk about politics and pornography, because that's a really big thing. Because one of the most political things you can do is have gay sex in this country. It's the most offensive things to people that don't like gay people, and no matter what, it seems like you can't separate being gay with something obscene for some reason. So yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but it has to happen, and I'll separate it in one way or another. I want to do a whole bunch of things on where certain terms come from, like twinks and certain archetypes that happen, and why we love these archetypes and stuff. I would love a doc comparing and contrasting. There's my notes section while I read a lot of these things. It was just populated with, okay, where is this going to go? how, when is this going to be tackled? Um, so I guess I've given you enough information about what's going on in season 4 that I can tell you a little bit about season 5. Season 5 is going to do Bobby Garcia, who, after doing the interview with Rob from Military Classified, I kind of was like, oh, okay, well, there were people that were doing this before him too. Americans today are more terrified of sex than Victorians were. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's out of control. The fact that Twitter now, or X, puts sexual warnings on my videos, yet I have to watch high school kids fight, like, really, really brutally, or just people fight on the street, and everyone's okay with that is ridiculous, considering everybody has sex. After a certain age, everybody has sex. Not everybody gets into fights. Not everybody. I don't understand the appeal, and I guess I never will. Uh, but yeah, no, it's insane. But what I was saying about the 80s, I'm going to deal with Jeff Stryker. I have to talk a lot about AIDS, unfortunately, because a lot of these models didn't make it out of the 80s. Um, yeah, Bobby Garcia, who had, I can't remember what his site was called at the moment, but yeah, that's how this whole thing started. Actually, when I was coming back from that interview in Laguna Beach, it was, let's see, I wish humans were more like bonobos. Yeah, well, I wish too. Yeah, when I was coming back from Laguna Beach, I just had this idea, like, okay, well, why didn't I know about this? Sweet guys cut down at their prime. Yeah, absolutely. Bosch Wagner. Len, I have not. Definitely let me know about him. But like I was saying, as I was coming back from Laguna Beach, I was like, I don't know this guy, and I should know this guy, and that just kind of opened the floodgate. I knew I wanted to do something very, very similar to what's going on now with the podcast, and still kind of hold on to the interviews and stuff. Um, but I'm I'm in awe of how much uh, is out there that we don't know. Speaking of the 80s, Mike Henson, John Davenport. Yeah, okay. Mike Henson, let me write him down. And John Davenport. I have not. I, you know, it's funny too. I could jump around, but I feel like that would get a little confusing. So that's why I kind of, there's Jim Bentley, Daniel Holt. There's a lot of podcasts out there and a lot of things. Um, well, granted, at the moment, there's not a lot of history of gay pornography or gay erotica podcast. But I felt like because we don't know a lot of stuff, Jeff Klein and Chad Douglas. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at, I totally forgot this is all saved so I can see this stuff. But um, I felt like I would do a disservice, and also my attention deficit disorder probably would get the best of me if I jumped around and I kept doing, the really popular stars. I know right now I can do Jeff Stryker, and the videos would probably get insane views. However, I kind of have a strategy, and I want to hold on to it. I want to keep it because it would be it's the best way to do it in my opinion, chronologically. Jeff Quinn was the greatest enigma. I'm gonna have to look him up. Would you consider doing interviews with performers from outside the U.S.? Absolutely. Be cool to learn about actors and directors around the world. Yeah, no, absolutely. There are definitely people that I'm in touch with. I know a lot of the guys from Berlin, Verse Film, and Jurgen, who owns Verse Film, and he runs the porn festival in Berlin. I think that's fascinating. I think the fact that if you watch some of their films, and some of the stuff that I talk about in the podcast now is the fact that when you watch films from the 70s, you're looking at New York and California and all of these places from the 70s that you're never going to get back again. That's a completely different world than the world we live in now. Same thing with the 80s and the 90s. When you watch this stuff and they're well made, and you're looking at like city landscapes and stuff like that, you're never going to get that back. Berlin, post Berlin Wall, you have this studio that opens up and starts making gay porn, and just shows you Berlin, Germany in the background of rebuilding after 50 years of being separated from West Germany, or East Germany, West Germany. That's insane. And you get a lot of that in their films, and I never appreciated it until I went back in 2014, and I was like, wow, this is insane. Very short history, but there's a history there. Yeah. I'll take a couple more questions. I know, have you been, uh, Loy? I have not. I am a workhorse, not a show horse. Yeah, no, I don't have, look, there's plenty of porn stars out there. There's plenty of people who do it, but yeah, I just, it's not, you know, very easy. Thank you very much, Poddammit. I appreciate it. Behind the scenes only. Yes, that's me. Um, they're actually, yeah, no, they actually have legal gay brothels in Berlin. I remember even Europe. Like you go to Europe and everybody has, even straight places. I think they have a dark room in the back. Like that's crazy. You just, okay, Wally, I'm gonna go in and hook up, and nobody makes a big deal about it. I think that's very interesting. You know. I'll take a couple more questions. We're going on about an hour. I think I have to go at some point. It's like 10:18 Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, lay them on me. Let's do it. Let's do another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna call it a day. And yeah. Oh, and tell me, things that you don't like about the podcast, or that you'd want to see changed, or anything like that. What has been the most challenging this season on DGP, and how can fans help? Current standards of STI testing. Okay. Most challenging, honestly, the most challenging, and I'll get to you, Lay, in a second about the STI. Um, the research. The research. And the only reason I say that is because, again, it's not easy, and you have to really, really dig for the stuff. And there is nothing I would love more than to have an update every single week, just kind of like flowing. But it's rough. You have to get into this person's life, be it the performer, be it the director, even the film. You have to watch the film and kind of like understand what they're saying, and you have to get into these people's lives. And sometimes it's very hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Peter Berlin, that one was, I do not remember Tomcat, but I will check him out. The Peter Berlin episode was very, very hard for me because I felt it was so superficial, and I had no interest in doing that one. But I knew he was popular. I just didn't like what he was popular for. And then eventually, I was watching a part of his documentary, and I was reading some of his interviews, and I thought what he said, one of the things he said was very, very interesting. Penis Museum in Iceland. I would absolutely love doing a Penis Museum in Iceland visit. Yeah. Thank you for that. So depending on who it is, and are they accepting all sorts? Depending, I'll get to that question now. Depending on who it is, you really have to be in the mood to document them, and also do it respectfully, and kind of do them justice, especially if they're not around. SDI testing. So certain studios have the model of, you get tested on your own, and the models talk, and then you just put it together. The California studios are really big into, I know straight studios, and I think a couple of gay studios, You go, you get tested, and then you kind of just have sex within the performer circle, and they kind of frown upon you having sex outside of work. That's one thing I remember. When it comes to porn performers, how do you get into porn? Honestly, just apply. At this point, you don't need an agent. You don't need anybody representing you. You can go on Twitter and start your fan site page if you think you got what it takes, and people will notice. And other than that, you apply to websites, and you go from there, honestly. And yeah, they accept all shapes and sizes if they're cool. And if they're not, there's a niche for it, so you'll find it. A couple more. Anyone else? It's so quiet. I do have another interview coming up with Joel Someone. He was back in New York and he was alone. And how many more? How many more what? He was back in New York. He was not with his boyfriend, and we just figured we seasons in the work. We figured we'd get another one in. How many more seasons in the work? Let's see. I feel like I would stop and up until the 2000s, like the late aughts, like up until 2010. And I only say that because you kind of have to give it time to see who's going to be around, who's going to be led. You can't call people legends that are in the industry now. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I think that people come and go and they fall off and all that stuff. Even studios, even directors, and uh, I think the purpose of what I wanted to do with this, especially, was kind of get a background for the work that I do, but also highlight people that wouldn't think that they were going to be highlighted or mentioned again or appreciated. Let's say, yeah, which sucks. King Dwarf is really cool. Have you thought of doing interviews with other performers who have dwarfism? Yeah, I would love to. Absolutely. If you haven't already, I would suggest making a gay porn documentary film. So, thank you, Captain. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take the entire season 4. So I think there's about 7 or 8 interviews in season 4. Who would you consider to be the best porn models of all time? Give me a second. Give me a second while I think about that. But Captain, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of season 4 and compile it into maybe an hour and a half, 2-hour documentary, and release that to the festival circles. Because one thing I love doing is recycling, and it's not necessarily recycling. It's just bringing it to a different format. So this is just available on YouTube. However, if I make something that's 90 minutes and it's a documentary, it takes on a completely different form, and it's also still informative, and it'll just be a little more concise. And if people want to watch the podcast after that or the YouTube channel after that, they can go and explore um, in detail. So yeah, I'd love to get an editor though to do that stuff because I feel like I'd be busy with season 5. But yeah. What was the best K porn or top 3 of all time in the 80s? Well, I didn't really watch a lot of porn in the 80s because I was a kid, but I mean, the bigger the better always gets thrown around. There was definitely one, and I can't remember the name of it, but I will mention it because there's a couple of them that are out there that are really personal because I found them afterwards. And it's one where this kid sneaks into Leo and Lance, best friends, the bigger the better. Yeah. Matt Ramsey movies, Big Guns, I've heard of that one. I'll have a better answer for that when I do the 80s, because no joke, I've probably watched about 80% of the porn films that were done in the 70s, in the late 60s, early 70s. So I'm going to watch all of these films, and yeah, I'll have a better answer for you then. Best porn star of all time. Geez, I'm still trying to answer that. It'll come to me. It'll come to me, and I will get back to you on that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I really like the interview with Rob and his transparency. Krishan, thank you. Um, yeah, you know, he's in rehab at the moment. He had a relapse, and I sent him the link, and he was very grateful that people are watching and are supportive, and you know, very smart guy, and just happened to um, be dealt a crushing addiction. Yeah, favorite porn star is Chad Douglas. I've heard the name for sure. But what if my favorite porn star is straight? Ooh, I don't know. Are the films from the 30s, 40s, and 50s? Yeah, no, they're not films necessarily, late, but there's loops, and loops are basically kind of what people are making today. It's films that are anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, and they have no plot. They just get right into it. Yeah, I can do a deep dive in that at some point, but not asking for tea, but just wondering what you think of other gay porn interview shows. Masculine Jason. I'm very supportive. I look after all this time. What is this? I find your content better and your questions and conversation superior. Thank you very much, Strong Junior. I appreciate that. I quitting smoking is a good time. Yeah, I agree with you, Pod. Damn it, addiction is addiction. Yeah, and like I was saying before, when it comes to other podcasts, you know, I think that anything that highlights uh, what we do, erotica and stuff like that, let's see, it's important to manage our expectations. 50 plus years old should resonate. Yeah. I respect what everybody else is doing. Everybody has a voice. Why there weren't podcasts before? What is sexual orientation? Is that question aimed at me, or I'm not sure. Um, and if it is, just really quickly, just to get back on other, loved your video on this fix. Thank you. Lloyd, I'll answer that in a second. Let me just get back to the one about Masculine Jason and other podcasts and stuff. Like I said, I think there's like 3 or 4 other podcasts, and I've heard of other people that wanted to start them, and I think that's amazing. I don't know if a lot of people realize how hard it is to actually start and maintain a podcast, but everybody brings what they bring to the table, and I think no matter what, there's definitely other people that are being interviewed for other podcasts that I'm not going to get, and that's perfectly fine. And or that have other subjects and stuff that I'm not interested in, and other people are going to listen to because they're interested in it. So I think there's room for everybody. I'm not here to make enemies. What I am here to do is kind of highlight like all of this stuff that's not being highlighted. What I won't do is have people that are not gay porn stars or adult content creators, or I won't have. Basically, I'm keeping it gay erotica, gay adult content creators, and all that fun stuff. Would love to see an interview with Mr. Deep Voice, my current gay. I think I've spoken to Mr. Deep Voice. I've spoken to Mr. Deep Voice. I've spoken to a couple of people from a lot of different places. So you're soft spoken, so nice. I love Masculine Jason. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go Colorado and do an interview with Masculine Jason, we have to set it up. That's another thing about me. I'm really, really big into, like, I want to be in the same room. I want to share space with somebody. And if if I can't do that, I don't want to do it. I don't think you're getting the same thing when when you're interviewing a screen. If you're in the room with the person, I think that, you know, there's a certain vulnerability. There's a lot of different things that happen. There's dynamics, like so many things happen. Synergy, let's call it, right? So I told Jason that I would like to do an interview only if it's in person. So I'll find a day and I'll go down to Colorado and we'll do that. Maybe do it as a live stream on both channels, so as to introduce each audience to the other show. Yeah, no, that's actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, thank you for that. I'll mention that to him. But yeah, no, there's a lot of different people out there that I have spoken to though. Absolutely, there's room for everybody. I will never be the only voice, and I'll never want to be the only voice. And on top of that, I have, you know, there's plenty of people out there that are doing um, their shows. I just, you know, I don't have time to listen to them, and I don't want to, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just a matter of, you know, if I'm listening to their shows, then I'm not doing my show. So so that's basically how I think about that. My sexual orientation, I mean I'm gay. I'm a gay man who in a short history, or in a short or brief summary, you know, flirted with heterosexuality for a while, but then realized I didn't really like women. And I'm a gay man. And what is sexual orientation? Oof, I don't know at this point. Um, I just think, you know, I will say this: if I didn't have to be so blunt about who I was when I was growing up, I probably would have just been open ended. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. There's nothing wrong. I don't think putting anybody in any box is good. Even now, even especially now, I think that there's and I people are gonna hate me for this, but gay adult content is not a monolith. Different genres, content, absolutely, absolutely. But I think even when you stick too hard to any one thing in the GLBTQIA, if you advocate too hard for just one thing, I don't know. I don't know. It's important to keep the channels like this one alive. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think, yeah, I absolutely think, I think, I don't think that labels are overrated. What I think is we spend too much time worrying about labels. And in reality, we shouldn't. Yeah. As long as, yeah, I don't care what anybody does in their bedroom, because I don't want anybody to care what I'm doing in my bedroom. But um, yeah, there's too much hollering and too much fighting and too much divisiveness in the LGBTQIA plus. So um, there's to that. But we can't end on this. I need like we need to let's get another question in, and then I'm gonna have to bid you guys good night, and I will do this again. Oh, John Waters. I almost ran him over in Provincetown. I did meet him in 2017. I was going to interview him for a Bruce LaBruce documentary I was making, but he had done an interview with somebody else. Yeah, no, John Waters, he's a very, very nice guy. Just got in a car accident. I hope he's okay. I think he was hit by somebody, not me. Uh, but yeah, no, yeah, no, that was crazy. I have a picture with him, and then like 2 days later, I almost hit him. But he's always around riding his bike in Provincetown, so keep your eyes open. I wasn't texting. When I was a young lady, when I was young, the only representation of gay people was in pornography. You're absolutely right. When is your next live Q&A scheduled for? Lloyd, this one wasn't scheduled. However, what I'm going to do, and I'll make this promise to you, chase it with a bike. We'll see. We'll see. You know, he wrote a book about outsider porn, and I mean, I can always reach out to him again. Oh, I'm gonna interview Drew Sebastian, and oh man, what's the cute guy's name from the 2000s? I can't remember. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it, from London. Cheers. Um, Crap, I can't remember his name, but he's in Provincetown, and I spoke to him, and I'm going to do an interview on him, and let's see if I can find his info now. You guys will all know who he was. I know there were a lot of cute guys in the 2000s. You're absolutely right. I don't know what I was thinking. LeGrand Wolf, I've been trying for a while, and then he switched publicists, and I never got. Um, Blue Bailey's great, and he wrote a book. Love your channel, love what you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, Hold on, I'll get him because he's not too far. Johnny Hazard, yeah, Johnny Hazard. But I would interview him for that show that I want to do called Post Porn, which would be a little more. It'd be 6 episodes. Um, Porn stars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and basically their life after leaving porn. Um, so he would be one of them, and I mentioned it to him. He's down, he's game. So that would be one of the things to look forward to. Um, excuse me, 2024 and beyond. Um, yeah. Mr. LaRue can come on my show, but there's a lot of questions I'd like to ask that I don't think he's ready for. But yeah. But again, an icon. So life after leaving porn, yeah. We should make Canadian porn and call it Tim Hortons. That's great. Ah, love those puns. Johnny has made a great film. Yeah. Cop turned porn star turned LGBT friendly priest. Huh. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. There was something we were talking about before the Chichi LaRue comment. Johnny Hazard. Yeah, okay. Well, all right. I'll take one more. Let's do it. Oh, the next Q&A. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my ass off and get this Monroe Beeler one done. It's already been drafted, and I'm going to focus on Monroe Beeler, his film The Rivermen, and Jaguar Productions. And then I will do a Q&A with that one. So hold me to it. Let's do it on Friday of next week, if not Friday, Saturday. And then immediately after that is going to be Monroe Beeler, his movie Song of the Loon, and Signature Films. Alex Meekum or Christian Wilde? I'll try. I'll reach out. Alex Meekum, yeah. Oh, and LeGrand Wolf, that's right. He changed publicists, and I wasn't able to set it up again, but I will. I'll talk to him. And again, I'd have to fly out to wherever he is for that. But yeah, I will do Cold Blue. Sounds familiar, but I'm not really sure. But I'll look him up. Yeah, and like I said, I'm available. Lane Rogers, such a big banana hottie. Okay. Rocco Reed said he found God. Okay, I know. All right, well, we'll talk about. There's a whole religious aspect that I'm working on as well. Might consider interviewing Spencer Quest in Provincetown. In the last couple of years, he's embraced his work as a porn actor. Okay, while I'm there, that, yeah, I mean, I'll be there for a week. I may as well work and then play hard, right? All right, so guys, look out for the Monroe Beeler thing. That's coming up next week. And I will do another live Q&A. I'll schedule it. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. This was a last minute thing, and I absolutely appreciate all your questions and for being on. No problem. Thank you. And thank you for the super thanks. I absolutely appreciate that. Check out, look, you don't have to, but if you want to, even if it's $3 and stuff like that, check out my Patreon page. I share the videos that I do research on, so that way you guys can watch too and tell me what you think. If not, just like and subscribe, comment on the videos. It really, really does help. I'm not asking because I want to be rich, making money off of this stuff. I'm not. I'm realistic about this. What I like doing is I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this basically. So yeah. Till then, guys, thank you so much. If you have any other questions that you would like to ask me, you can reach me on Instagram, Twitter. You can reach me here on YouTube, um, and my email, ikgrandexxx@gmail.com. I'm available there, and it takes me about a day or two to get back, but I'm usually pretty good with that stuff. So yeah, thank you guys very very much. I absolutely appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around, and yeah, let's move forward. Have a good night.